Welcome back to Grumpy Vet Garage. Ever since we added the 2004 E55 AMG to the garage, we've been doing maintenance and repairs with the goal of rehabilitation and improving upon what's already a great car. Part of that was the first oil change for the car since we've had it, but also key to that is an oil sample was taken so we can do an oil analysis to try to determine what is the condition of our high mileage M113K engine. A good return on our oil analysis will give us the confidence we need to push forward some modifications of the car, knowing that we have a good foundation to build upon. The oil analysis from Blackstone Labs already came back and it did look good, but before going over that oil analysis and telling you what to look for, I want to go over why you would want to do an oil analysis on your vehicle. I think there are three scenarios that really benefit from doing oil analysis. First one being condition confirmation before and during performance modification. This condition check applies to engine oil, automatic transmission fluid, manual transmission gear oil, and rear differential gear oil. Of course, the interaction of engine oils with various factors like different types of fuels, coolant, air coming into the engine, exhaust going out of the engine, make engine oil analysis more of the focal point, and for good reason. But the automatic transmission also falls into this category, interacting with various things. The cooling stack on your engine, which in many cases is the actual engine radiator. So getting your automatic transmission fluid checked before and during performance modification is also a good idea and something that we're going to do on our E55. The number two scenario would be tracking the condition of rare or at least very expensive to replace components. Engines are very expensive, but even more expensive is difficult to source replacement parts. I'm not picking on Honda, Chevrolet, and Ford guys, but it is much easier to source replacement parts for your K-Series, an LS, or a Coyote engine. While replacement parts for those engines may not be inexpensive, they are more readily available and definitely not as expensive as rare modern AMG engine and engine parts, any M-badge BMW engine parts. Those are not only expensive, sometimes not available. So in the number two scenario, tracking the condition, it lets you get ahead of problems and not let it become catastrophic, where maybe you do need to rebuild an engine and change out bearings, but you still have a good core. Your engine doesn't have new windows in it, and the crank is still a usable crank. So doing oil analysis can let you get ahead of potential problems that may be extremely catastrophic and expensive. The number three scenario is to be able to monitor and assess extended oil change intervals. Many owners desire to extend oil change intervals to lower the cost of ownership of a personal vehicle or business use vehicles. While oil manufacturers promote extended oil change intervals, an oil analysis can let you know with your specific application whether or not that extended oil change interval is meeting the needs of protection for your vehicle. An example would be if you own a light-duty diesel truck for recreational use or business use, and the trips you take with that vehicle are well beyond what a normal oil change interval might be. Instead of guessing how long you could go in between oil changes safely with your vehicle, the oil analysis can let you know whether or not the additive package in that oil is still present to be able to do the job of protecting the engine, and also is the filtration of your oil standing up to external factors that may be affecting the ability of your oil to protect your engine. In short, it takes out the guesswork, allowing you to save time, money, and hopefully your engine. Okay, so here's my oil analysis report for the 2004 E55 AMG, and it's normal, which is what I was hoping for. But rather than going line by line, I really want to show you the four parts of the report. I'm using different color highlighting to show you how they group. There is going to be some crossover between multiple groups, and the groups are wear metals, contaminants, additives, and then the last part is the oil sample properties. So some things might show up wear metal, but also could be a contaminant, also could be an additive. So we have to look at them in the totality of how all the individual things are being measured. And the good thing, before getting too far, in the summary section of the oil analysis report, Blackstone gives you a quick synopsis or their recommendation on what's going on with the engine. And they, as you can see, it's actually showing you specifically the M113K engine in the E55. So they know what engine is being sampled here. If there was a problem with a contaminant that may be leading to, say, engine bearing problems or possibly an open PCV system, they would go ahead and highlight that in the comments, whether or not there was coolant or fuel in the oil. So they do some of the work for you, but you still want to be able to look through and see trends. Okay, so starting with wear metals, these are the materials that make up our engine. This includes cylinder walls, pistons, bearing material, piston rings, which can include moly-coated piston rings, which is kind of why I was saying there could be some crossover. If you have wearing moly piston rings, your moly or molybdenum, which is difficult for me to say, could be high, but it also could just be the additive package in your oil. That's why this is a single oil analysis. Multiple oil analysis or subsequent oil analysis gives you more information to know whether or not you're seeing a trend of increasing amounts of contamination, or is the moly level just the moly level in the additive package of your engine oil. But you can see there I have them grouped. There's really nothing that's too crazy there. The iron count is higher than their universal average, so that's something that I want to see in my next oil analysis. Does that number increase, or does it stay the same? Does it go down? It could be engine wear, but it also could just be that's the normal amount of iron that's going to be in an oil sample with my engine. So looking at the list there, they are pretty obvious what each individual thing would be. You know, aluminum would be aluminum parts, like maybe your pistons. But depending on what material you're seeing on the oil analysis can help you troubleshoot issues and give you a chance to possibly address a problem before it becomes catastrophic. So we're looking at, you know, lead and tin and that type of stuff can be in engine bearings. If we're seeing that, we have a chance to possibly change an engine bearing, or at least not wait until there's a catastrophic failure that now we're needing to replace engine parts. But it just kind of gives you an idea of what might be happening inside your engine. Next, we're going to move on to contaminants. Calcium and magnesium are listed here, but they're also common additives in modern oil. So if you see a number that's high, it could be the oil that you're using. Additionally, that's why subsequent oil analysis, if you're seeing a number stabilize, it's most likely just the oil additive content of calcium and magnesium. But if it's going higher, it could be an external source. It could be dirt. It could be calcium-rich dirts or magnesium-rich dirts, depending on what type of environment you live in. Also, contaminants that jump out right away: potassium. That's coolant. That's coolant that's in your oil. Silicon. That could be either silicone, but it also could be dirt. Again, coming from an external source, so like an open crankcase ventilation that's not being filtered and now is making your engine oil contaminated. And then lead and nickel from fuel dilution. So if you're getting fuel into your crankcase, you may have a higher lead and nickel content. Okay, moving on to additives. These are the elements to monitor to extend oil change intervals. Additive packages can be depleted over time. So with the analysis, you can tell if the protection is still present in your oil without contamination and wear metals, so that you can actually extend usage. And Blackstone, with their oil analysis, will give you a recommendation on what extension they would recommend. And then lastly is the oil sample properties. I didn't put any colors with this one. It'll tell whether or not there's fuel, coolant, or water in the sample. Also, it gives a general idea of viscosity, whether or not you're getting some evaporation, which can happen over a long period of time where the actual oil viscosity is changing from heat cycles. It can be captured in the oil sample property section. And again, if there's a problem, Blackstone is going to put it in the comments like, hey, you know, your viscosity was this. Like, they knew the oil viscosity on my E55 was 0W40. Now, when I do my next sample, they're going to know that I changed to 5W40. Granted, I'm going to tell them that, but they were able to determine immediately, like, hey, the oil that you sent in the sample was 0W40 oil. And then now it's going to be 5W40. But if there's a difference in viscosity or a viscosity change because of various factors, they can determine that, and they can capture that in the property section. Now, I'm glad that the report came back good. I wasn't worried, but again, it's a high mileage engine. There's a lot of miles on the car. I want it to be great so that we can do modifications in the future, but I didn't want to turn around and just start going crazy modifying this car when it had an old or tired engine. Now we feel confident we can move forward, do some modifications, some light modifications. Let's not get crazy right away. But with this oil analysis, I know now that the engine is running good and is in good shape. I've done quite a bit of research trying to get smart on oil analysis, and I think I've gotten there a little bit, but I am not an expert by any means. There is another channel on YouTube, the Motor Oil Geek, who really gets in depth on oil analysis and motor oil in general. So I'm going to link his channel in the video description. If you want to see a lot more information and the different things that you can find out about motor oil in general or how motor oil works, the Motor Oil Geek channel is a great channel and a great resource. But if you have any questions about oil analysis, by all means, leave a comment, ask a question. I love hearing from you guys. Also, if you have any additional comments about oil analysis, something you think I should have covered, something that you think would be highlighted, please leave a comment. I would love to hear that too. But if you like this kind of content, please consider subscribing to Grumpy Vet Garage, liking this video, sharing this video. To support the channel, we have a Grumpy Vet Garage merch store and affiliate marketing links in the video description. Using those links to make any purchase directly supports the channel. If you want to contact me, you can do so through the comment section of this video or through our Facebook or Instagram page. Link to those are in the video description. But as always, thanks for coming and seeing me in my garage, and until next time, have a good one.